Ora George Opare Addo. Oinaba.
Yeah, Niamini Abema.
Nabra bibi abogo de.
Nyamiado.
It's a NDC youth. Energy no underground. It's any.
The decline. Mamin chair with tea for now. I'm saying our tree will make it was and be into my yako.
Yeah, medasi.
So be Yamina dema.
On one edge.
Shade. My tree council, but see as this I am a fool of Santiago.
Santiago.
I'm tree. Minia, sir, on my be a bit too poor and agent and bebunoso. Na your best sabine so an agent and bebunoso. Na sabe Casa Bibre, yam pese to say Kufado, plenty talk, less work. But a Jumani de Biero Tigana Habian say, yeah, Juma of Fempa. So I mean, Kensra and yeah, 12, I mean, saying this be doing because they were formidable youth fronter. Beku Aje Ghana, near Ghana, a seat baby pa. It's major on but I can assure you that we have a resolute and a formidable youth fronter, a year poised for victory.
People and Kofu say Opare Addo be youth anymore. He's relegated to the even prior to so baby anymore. Na I say na hoki can any more chance. Or me I know what to Nana B say, oh, Nana B boy we see him everywhere. I don't know you who know Opare Addo all over the place.
Nana Jumane Yakasa. Proud 2018 year 12 National Youth Organizer. Namika government Namika a communication team.
Okay.
The job of an organizer is not to sit on radio and talk. So be organizer where Juma here radio soksa. Where Juma is about TSC firm.
Ebidia radio soksa.
And then Ghana, ya manyo seminar here. So bet na radio sokasa ni so why Juma pa.
Okay.
But radio gives us, but radio doesn't win elections. When you don't have a proper organization on the ground, now we need structures for FEMA. You will do all the talking. But on the day that it matters most, the radio commentary will not be there to get the job done. The job of organizer is a leg work. And I can tell you without any fear, sir, me youth organizer were movie across the constituencies, across the country since any movie, Even in this COVID times, the amount of legwork amazing. And the people who matter, the people who should know, in Nimejuma,
submarine.
I wouldn't call it submarine because your activities are public.
Okay.
We are not publicizing the especially when you are dealing with government, very treacherous and very difficult to handle. And this is a government that will stop at nothing. This is a government that will stop at nothing to discredit and also a big create problems. But what I can assure you is that a lot of work has gone on and a lot more is being done.
And you believe which may win the 2020 election?
They say our youth front has never been most formidable than this time. And you can, from here, my independent reporters anchor ground. Normally, youth organizers not interacting. Normally, constituencies not interacting. Normally, just say which part of the party, which wing of the party, and they're very proactive. A lot has gone on. Yeah, but no more. But I can assure you, sir, I've been not going to do your classmate from St. George's.
Yeah.
Wait me, I be some. So that let me trail.
How am I going to for my boss? My boss, brother,
Juma Akoso. From building of capacities and resourcing of the youth wing.
Okay.
In the last 2 years, about 18th, about October 2018, November 2018. Between that time, your training even branch youth organizers.
Okay.
Build their capacities. Because so I'm a Juma. Now one try me. The scope of Juma now you're setting me out to fail. So what we needed to do, we've done. From last year, and the beginning of this year, we've started resourcing. We've given pickups, we are giving motorbikes. I mean that. And we have built capacities. And for me, the most important thing in any organization is building of capacities. Because it is when capacities are developed and our resources are on Sabeka.
wow, join us here. Problem say for send a message senka nose mask no enti ka be ba from crowd. We say glass wa obi a man hey when obi a man no social distancing no yeah adwuma papa yane owura La George Opare Addo on youth organizer edema NDC na tete free what tete question bi abese obusa ne bia no obetimi asend aba 0202 222067 na eno ako ye obusabri afa COVID-19 akufado nneoma de agu form a no ne ehunhura wom come 2020 and the keka ho. But before that, yet to come and say the leadership style of the youth need a yardstick to measure more of Samia Uku as compared to Sidi. Says Samia Uku a movie and a crowded in a chi or attracted or yes. And on Anabi by Wamuso Nanabi so carry on with the same kind of leadership style to be able to move the crowd. Do you think you are doing something different? Yes, is it going to yield results?
The leadership, the various philosophers, various scholars, I can't very find things about what leadership is about. What I always say is, what I take out is that leadership is a cause. What follows a effect.
Okay.
When the people believe in your cause, they'll follow you. Following your cause and believing in your cause is not a crowd you draw along. It is the results that you churn out with that crowd. You bet me I was in pain. You bet boy just so chobo. But at the end of the day, no result be attained. And the mark of a leader is not you being present. But without you being present, the job gets done. A good leader leads from behind. So as I said, leadership is our delegation and building of other people. So that when you are not there today, who fills your spots?
Okay.
I am not comparing myself, and I mean better now and compare me who to be. I am my own man. And when I started politics, none of them had started politics.
Samu.
Of course, yes.
Who started politics in term?
I've been around.
Because also you're youth. Yeah. That means you are when you're
I was appointed MC in this country at the age of 26.
Really?
Yes.
George Opare Addo?
Yes.
So at the age of 26?
Yes.
You were MC?
Yes. You know, that's what most people don't know. George Opare Addo, George Opare Addo. They think he's an old man.
Do you have a link with maybe an normal 7? Because as a matter would printing press being here, is that correct?
we'll talk about that after here. This government is so vindictive, sir. What can be business here? Tomorrow morning the business will go down. So I am not here to discuss
those aspects of your life.
But the issue is that my war around for a very long time.
Okay.
My war around for a very long time. What most people don't know is Samuel Okuno and my roommate were university. He was my junior at university, not my roommate.
Okay.
And then I've been a Kwachimata primary school. We slept in the same dormitory.
When I be Kwachimata primary school,
we slept in the same.
Oh yeah, chukin and abiyo.
Oh, that be so. But and most of them, and they didn't carry into me home. But when they started, I was already there, and from where I sit, men came to me, but I've been instrumental in shaping their politics.
Really?
Yes.
You have been instrumental in shaping Nanabi Samuel politics.
So, Sabi, said na unni me. Na me to na movie and me fair na movie as na wo be mo. You definitely come to me for one advice or two.
And correct.
I have been in this game longer than all of them.
It will experience,
so, certainly, and you see, I will not sit here and compare myself to anybody. Obia leadership style is different. The most important thing about leadership, I'm kind is that it is a cause. The rest that follows, the effect of it. If they believe in your cause, they will follow you. What you need to find out is, do the youth wing of the NDC believes in the cause of George Opare Addo? If yes, after 2020, you see, and in an election, it's either you win or you lose.
Right.
So many factors echoed, boom, that is our victory number. But a youth wing in Kwadia,
Yaba youth wing any other kwanya mbefaso mechi win 2020 election and the vision of the NDC as it stands now dear new na modeba but yan limiting common here to COVID-19 and neoma ACC around COVID-19 any NDC for who can say the etie any omampani otiso abanya tiso neoma maka so far say NDC for na ewo abemu na what would you have done differently?
would have done like a baby my baby differently.
Yeah.
Baby. You see, another baby I make her say, who a leader. Na ne hallmark this honesty. Any day, anytime. So all the incompetence at all. Now the dishonesty to her no more. And I have to choose between these two. I will choose incompetence over dishonesty. The reasons are very simple. Yeah, abaya or din kontompo and ebu of mine. And unfortunately, we'll have to say this, but most media men have become surrogates of Sabainwe. And the critical question is... it will be so unfair.
No, but you can't just put media men and surrogates.
We had times few media men, you have more opportunity. Almost share my penny. Almost maybe start question and they go praise the shirt he's wearing. When they should be asking critical questions. So they're not here, how many of your colleagues are doing same? How many times now I call some media briefings here and the critical questions are here. So most media men have become surrogates of this government. In Tiabanwe, the level of accountability are demanded from NDC. Are we asking this government for same? Certainly not. This issue of COVID-19. When there is a pandemic, and a pandemic. Say, you say you catch there is fire in the next room and at the bar. The home can be different.
Right.
You catch and say there is fire across the next streets. Now it is being contained there. Your home can be different.
Right.
Our first case of COVID was reported on the 12th of March. The first 2 cases. Before then, now in February, the whole month of February, the WHO had warned all world leaders what had happened in Wuhan, a pandemic. So we could not treat it like you treat other H1N1 in Yemano. And that governments should get ready. Meaning, the dishonesty of this government, I will give you 4 examples. And then you conclude that Opare Addo is a very dishonest leader. 1, outbreak nearby Wuhan. The NDC made representation on the floor of parliament. So we had Ghanaian students in Wuhan. Yanko for Mumbra. Abaywe said they cannot go and bring them. Granted, said the Omoba ABI in container, we cannot quarantine them, and they be a pay that they are in. But guess what happened? From December now, Wuhan, I reported first case, no. That time they didn't do part. But when Wuhan was locked down in January, WHO issue first alert say there is a virus in Wuhan. Now it has a potential
of spreading across.
No. You see, I'm in students, but every day, Emirates and various airlines that travels to the Far East, Ghana, China, but they be
But since before I can say they have been vindicated, say, Moka so monko for my old way to 2 milk kofa womo enko for buy no. Eternal say woman numbers in kosuru Italy, for example. Woman numbers kosuru to the extent say enko for bebre. Don't you think so kofa womo buy ya? Ebia your numbers say record we would have recorded worse than
with all due respect, anybody who makes that assertion a WAP logic.
Okay.
There are other countries in Africa, eco form nationals with China.
Algeria
is 1. Libya is 2. I'll just give you these 2 countries. And is Italy, for example, no moment, there are no scientific basis. Others have even attributed Italy for at the end of Omola's gay conference. Meaning, there are WHO protocols are evacuating Crawford. The first one, before anybody is evacuated, mind you, pilots and any air hostess and our crew, no, they also value their lives. So.
Right.
The first step is to provide a certified test from a recognized lab. Say, what test is negative? You don't airlift any negative person. 2, once that is done, you're left to the home country now. The WHO recommends say you be held in quarantine, mandatory quarantine by the states, for 14 good days. And if within 14 days, further tests are conducted on you, and so that your child will sell. So it is just that government is irresponsible. Meaning, no government, no responsible government leaves his nationals behind.
It's a much a young for home uncle for my place.
Yeah, my place, your Ghana for the so called China.
And
and they were going and they were coming. We saw nothing wrong with it. But your nationals now no more stranded in the uncle for one. Meaning, that assertion say you conform by the WHO's protocols are there. Other countries are conform nationals. There is no scientific proof that nationals don't conform with China by and they are you conform nationals by. Nana, you conform nationals by. And then in case count
more than 4,000.
4,700 by the close of today, because Takwani Nyama figures say by 4,700 new. This morning on one of the sister stations. Now, Oscar's new figures are by the close of maybe today near hit 5,000. We didn't bring any of our nationals. What are you telling us? Now, the second issue of dishonesty, I make one thing. When our first 2 cases were recorded on the 12th of March, between the 12th of March to the 1st of April, you're imposing restrictions. It was more than 2 weeks. Government didn't know what to do. After recording 2 cases, and not obia nim, because now at the time they're recording in first 2 cases, now Europe outbreaks now started. But government had no clue as to what to do. Menewo can say, if not dishonesty and incompetence, the NCC, which is leading state organization, almost leading in the fight of educating Ghanaians, and His Excellency catch and say, and I am more, so that they can help and join in the education. The third issue, because this government has been dishonest, are figures, and the kind of figures they have put out to the Ghanaian populace. May you see example, say, you tell them way, you catch and say if there is fire in the next room, our reaction will be different. And I catch and say fire across the street, and so our reaction will be different. So we catch and say what tested 10,000. Now we create the false impression say 10,000 in individual cases, when actually the 10,000 included triplicate triplicate
that is my question what you say you're testing the papa over and over.
You're testing the papa now it is not individuals.
Okay.
Now say you've done this number of tests, and so a sense a false sense of hope say BB Koswa, you are misleading people.
Okay.
And then the last of the dishonesty is the president himself.
Senator,
or say we know how to return the economy back to life, but we don't know
what we don't know is how to return human beings back to life. Yes.
Yeah. When we have less than 200 cases, there were restrictions on movements. Ghana is the only country you can't allow for just 3 weeks and you be here. The day the president addressed us and all lifted restrictions, I am sure we were all under the mistaken impression say now we're consulting Ghana Medical Association, as well as all lifted restrictions. But that's Monday morning. The deputy director, the deputy secretary of the GMA was on radio saying that they were not consulted. And if the other people the GMA were threatening an action. So quickly they arranged the meeting between the GMA and the president that afternoon. I said, why he lifted it. And then luckily for us, Sada Nenumra, Dr. Isiasari, on one of the TV stations, admitted it was not science. Like science now, and they inform me decision, but social science, they inform me decision. What kind of dishonesty is this? So I've given you 4 reasons why I feel that this government has not been fair to the people of this country, not in contumpo and eco pandemic. From a day you left restrictions, look at the spike ayenya, look at the increases ayenya, and a year psychological. Yeah, you see them hey. You can't say Jawa Hanma. Yeah, your attitude be different. You can't say Jawa across the street. The truth is that when the restrictions were there,
okay,
people were more careful. People had sense of fear, said the sickness was out there. The day of lifting restrictions, no. And the commentary that came from PP commentators, Kwajo Pankruma, and the president himself created an erroneous impression, say, Yariano. Intino, for circle, hey, and go and see how people are going about their activities. Like Arabian, people are living freely. America said they 200 and they do 5,000. People are not afraid. You know why? Because of how the president has communicated Yareni to us. And that is where we find ourselves in this fight against COVID. Your question was, if NDC or Hanuma, Akebe and different, and I certainly would have things different. Yeah, in COVID-19 management team, no, you presented 2 papers. Diama, His Excellency President Akufo-Addo, and the COVID-19 team, no, suggestions on how we feel that we should go, things we should do. Every government everywhere in the world is doing testing. Every government everywhere in the world is doing tracing. Every government everywhere in the world is doing contact tracing, quarantine, quarantine crop. Every government is doing it. But what successive governments are doing is that they are going a step further. For instance, when you are going to lock down the people, say if this government wants to do things properly, the first thing is you take politics out of the distribution in the Nemana Woyen. Yet Tihanam Yehu, social media, Honorable Amedata, saying and telling the whole world, say the Minister for Gender, COVID-19 in Yamane Demano, Honorable Breni as MP, so on check. They only gave it to NPP MPs and former NDCMs.
Okay.
And you see, when you are fighting a pandemic, you need a united country to fight it. You need the first step of even relief items to people who are infected. Only the politics, you've defeated it. And that the NDC would not have done. We would have treated Ghanaians as Ghana, not NPP Ghana and NDC Ghana.
But there's so many times, questions, we shouldn't politicize it.
But the president himself has acted irresponsibly on a number of occasions. Just yesterday, he was out there throwing shades. The president now was me for politics.
Oh, throw shades, mama.
Oh, and no, and shades so true. And say, people are still disputing the figures, and people are hoping that the figures will go up, and they need it for their political survival. That was childish and unnecessary from the first gentleman.
Language number 4. Childish.
Say, when a president who is leading a fight against a pandemic decides to be throw shades in respect, there is not a better way to use than call it childish. Say, and you know the sad aspect. You name the impact of this virus yet. So for anybody to assume and come and praise himself, say he's doing well, when you name, because on Thursday, when we were told, say, do you pick, no. So when the minister of information, or say, you do you pick. What I know, they say, in statistics and in pandemic management, who do picker, your curve begins to fall.
To decline.
It comes down. From Thursday, we've seen over 200, over 2,000, almost 2,000, and 900, almost 2,000 cases from Thursday.
So it could have been true, sir.
So it could have been true. We were at our peak on Thursday.
It looks like the rate of change of positive cases and now it's higher than the rate of even testing numbers. And for us, just saying, a lockdown back. Then we do contact tracing and all that. Do you suggest or man pay and some a lockdown for a proper intensive tracing, testing and treatment before say Obibiana?
Is it 5,000? Approximately almost 5,000.
Right.
Now it's become extremely difficult to do any proper contact tracing. We missed the opportunity of doing things right. We missed the opportunity of closing our borders early. We missed the opportunity of doing contact tracing and testing. You miss this opportunity, no. Today, my best in the studio, God forbid, if I am infected. If it's not sorry and answer, would I even be able to recall everybody?
Debbie.
And the people also go in. So I tell you, when we had less cases, I lock here down, no, because you put in place proper mechanisms of making sure, say, the people who were vulnerable were properly taken care of. No, he was compelled to open for whatever reasons. When we had cases in this country, it took a court order to stop NIA from stopping. When the president himself said, this president has been so dishonest to us as the people. In doing again, now I regime president, I feel sorry for you. Because what he's clearly told us is each one for himself, God for us all. And issue in the EI, our the restrictions act, the buyer. Yes, no conference, no gathering, not NIA, and I'm still reading a registration. It took Young, Mark Oliver, Nomo, Kevin Nomo, to go to courts to get an order to restrain the NIA. As a registration AGI. Yeah, they come around and create the impression and say the NIA have the registration on their own. I don't create anymore. So from any angle you look at it, this government has paid more politics. Or who COVID said it's a political season to harvest. So showmanship. And I have reduced water by electricity by 50%. 3 months free water. It was all showmanship.
And I'm not going to Braka say about worry the fortunes of the NDC because it looks like President Akufo-Addo Nyama is winning the hearts of Ghana for. So it was free water. For the next 3 months, electricity at so say who we free water. Nyama be brea wa dia gu akwemu sabionu feed here echo round my check and a man for a feeding nipa 200,000 a day.
You know, and I'm not pay. Deputy Minister for Information, Pius.
And I'm Hajide.
He almost assaulted somebody in TV3 because the journalist, a fellow journalist, a call for accountability was a nipa 200,000 feeding. That was the his only problem, his only mistake was to call for accountability. Just almost, they had to restrain, cameramen had to restrain us. It's online, you can check. Because he called for accountability.
Only say omu feed this microphone. You spend 2 million every day.
Exactly. And I may say the day of accountability will come. But the NDC as a political organization in this COVID times, if say COVID, na Ghana for who na MPP because so our Abema, we don't have a problem. Which we value human life more than say we win elections. We win elections to govern people.
Right.
Anybody know about governing? You know, say MPP, ebe 10 years, no member freebies, no member winning elections. Yeah, it is the least of our problems. But I assure you, say, Opare Addo, Akufo-Addo, Emma Mame, and Anna Rebecca Akufo-Addo, and your electoral commissioner. 7th December, 9th December, power will change hands. Akufo-Addo will not continue to be president of this country.
President Akufo-Addo.
President Akufo. Oh, okay. President Akufo-Addo will not continue to be the president of this country. You know why? Because 3 years ago, I obeyed the president. What did he do prior COVID? And a COVID by Impono, how has he managed it? A responsible government. But you see, they are quick to compare to other jurisdictions. You can compare who to Africa. Let's look at our cases in Africa. And let's look at how our presidents in Africa have handled COVID. Never compare the Akufo-Addo. Clearly, he's failed. Clearly. So, Mr. Power, 50% say sure, only 100% electricity. No power, no pay all my manna from heaven. And the Ghanaian people will still vote against him because they know he's corrupt, he's inept,
he's corrupt in here, but you show us the entire but we are corrupt. But so far, now why you COVID-19? You say, what do you guys have done differently? Oh my, oh, why you know, we and this was across.
And this Alabama would have closed our borders early.
Okay.
2, your quarantine restrictions would have still longer. 3, when you fast so chair relief items, any packages stimulus packages would have done better. Main question we saw Ebola 28, Ebola almost 28,000 in Africa. 11,000 in Africa. Ebola.
Right.
Me no can say COVID. Kenya. So far, in its worst form, only 2,000 in Africa. So I say, we saw Ebola. We even established an Ebola center for West Africa and Ghana. Yeah, recording so we will not be able to assess the impact of Ebola. But we saw the pragmatic measures you put in place against the fight against Ebola. The first thing on this COVID, you feel here was time to close your borders. Because our first two cases were imported cases. First week in March, other countries have started closing borders.
First closing 21st, I think so.
Oh, you're closing later than 21st.
21st of March.
We closed the 22nd of March.
Okay.
Because first 22nd flight by to 23rd and no flights. 21st, 22nd for and they don't go hotel. No. So 23rd and closing border. How many days? 22 days, 21 days after our first case. 21 days after our first case. Near trend day. Any responsible government would have closed its borders.
Mokoka, your mama Becca said a year NDC for SOB Ebola better than a year MPP for a solution or more a year COVID-19. Dr. Muhammad Bawumia be a comparison says a time wa your mama wanna these things could have been worse. I was say your fabi say doomsa. Ventilators anybody here and your my Candia doctor for be here and can you because doomsa was worse than even COVID-19.
I find it very difficult to discuss Bawumia. Unfortunately, he's out of this country. But in the eyes of right-thinking Ghanaians, we need credibility because of how he's carried himself.
Dr. Bawumia.
Because of how he's carried himself. And then, children today in schools associate lies with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. I don't discuss him. I mean, we see him. Most importantly, he will not be on the ballot. But quickly, ventilators are Ghana and Nemo. MPP before by COVID by ventilators and all the ventilators at hospitals were provided by President Mahama. You have said a lot of things about President Mahama. Doom so. Other President Kufuor, yenya doom so no. Not Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, not a deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana. They are software in the Kogu Akosumoso Mumbompai. They did not add even 1 megawatt of electricity. Obaya, or more energy experts. Dr. Rekrubobe. Say equipment on Mobile, now your toy machines. Doomsday was not caused by President Mahama. It's anybody who says anywhere, not ignorantly, or because President Mahama the cause doomsday, say it as any pani mischievous, and as any pani in the aoka. But successive governments refuse to add on to electricity in this country. President Mahama, you'll say, I will solve it head on. And we will never experience that problem. The capacity of President Mahama at the car, any infrastructure or building here for electricity, and then Akufo-Addo will export electricity because baby.
President Akufo-Addo, President Mahama, the president.
President Akufo-Addo will export electricity. Do so. So was caused by successive governments, which means the power plant be over a period of 2 years.
But Robert said was worse under John Dramani Mahama.
And I may say, it was worse because population had increased, infrastructure had gone up. What are they not demanding more electricity? Rural electrification, communities are money lights. Between President Kufuor by President Rollins, 45% coverage. At the time of President Kufuor, now you encourage from 45, they do 51%. Just 6% of the count. Under President Mahama, you do over 75% coverage. So clearly, people who started going onto the national grid became more. Instead, Kakrana Newako Sumbono was not enough. And climate change also played a role. In Sudan, we're not getting the same amount of water. And also, Bagre Dam, Burkina Faso, which is the header, neighbor. So Akosombo had over 1,000 but it was not producing electricity at full strength. We needed to build terminal plants. Which means the terminal plant be in 2 years. Minimum is 3 years. And in 4 years, look at the amount President Mahama they can't. And then, where is Doomso? If Bawumia compares apples with oranges, no possible no say it leaves much to be desired.
Happy 98.9 Jumadi ni pawan be me do katachie Kwame Afrifa Mensa Santiago na ko ni betimi from the youth president me owura George lawyer George Opare Addo awoye the national youth organizer of the NDC ana etwen komo yabusa na questions be with regards to NDC ahokeka when it comes to election, especially at the grassroots base our no di anymore no and the fight against COVID-19, what the NDC would have done differently, and also what you bedim common be but my message is now by Facebook. Let me go on Facebook and read very simple messages. Farouk Tamazoka, kindly stop Pablo from misinforming the populace. It is never true. The numbers we have tested include duplicates. The professor from Nunguchi came to debunk this vile propaganda from the NDC and their surrogate. The over 150,000 cases tested are individual cases, not a single duplicate is included. As for Pablo, he's shouting for fame, keke. Chere mayan saying, and you Farouk na de free tema eba ye. Yarima na adawara. Okay. Amenko. The Prof Enoch Menso address His Excellency John Mahama with the same courtesy you expect Comrade Opare Addo. Oh, of course, I address John Mahama like that. Please, what are you saying? I always call him President Mahama. So what I say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The Prophet say, how can Okada claiming to be the better journalist ask how the NDC will win elections when it is the responsibility of the government to in the vulnerable? But the Prof, question don't worry. Say Akuche Jr. Please, I'm Kwame Nakwesi. Ask Pablo. He said he was appointed this year at the age of 26. He should tell us his age now for holding the position of say Aguchi Maira say Pablo the age the amenya show so for now until the Enyanesa. Eric Jason, and you are the best journalist in Ghana. I like your fight that you have been fighting for us. Continue it from Erikus Nade and Oba here. I mean call WhatsApp na me call ready message. Oba on Facebook I bet me abo share now the message we have in common idea. I say Opare Addo is just blowing his horn. The NDC didn't provide us with even flashlight during the Dumso era, let alone free water. The alternative is Kwame Aje Suhumnade and Obaya. Niawule United. Niawule for Facebook. I think me read free water are much more better than. God bless you, Nana, for doing what the generals and the captains couldn't do. So keep it up. Greetings to Honorable upon Samuel, MP for Crow, incoming MP for Crow Fumu, and say for the NDC. And here Pelato and free tema Ebaye. Organiser, I want to ask Pablo, was there any Dumso under my President Mills? Nana Ponsabodi Bediako wants to know. Please tell the president that we are tired of his light out because of small free treatments. That's small from Tutuakuapem. That's small Tutu from Tutuakuapem. That's what I say. Wapake new plan station said the Organiser, and if I tell Pablo, he should stop insulting our president and our propaganda will kill Pablo. Okay. Okay. I don't think so. We didn't attempt. Okay. The same way I'm with me, Fred Jomama, incompetent, you know. Because we'll be a dishonest. I don't think so. You attempted it. So let's move on with that. Good afternoon, youth president. If Opare Addo is saying the boy didn't come to Ghana, fine. So under the incompetent watch, cholera killed 200 souls here in Ghana. Which measures were in place at that time? And is no. Common Dumso, he and his party couldn't distribute even torchlights and batteries. Empty toxa in Shraba and Nel Canada and all. 1, 2, 3. I mean, I've listened to you well this afternoon. Keep it up. In fact, MBP, my own party sometimes, some leaders too much. And Ken will continue to discipline them. Kofiaja ben da kuma nede no eba ye mamenko where's your katechi kindly stop Pablo for me. Okay, I've read again. Everywhere we the people of Shukura and Russia, there is no pipe-borne water for the past 1 month. We only make line for well water. every morning. Suleiman Queen and Eddie and by. Maybe back to the studio. Let's have a conversation. Pablo, before I say about to us, the next topic. Is there anything Opare responded to in the messages?
There are two quick things. First one is what the NDC has done. Meaning, on issue of COVID, His Excellency President Mama started distributing PPEs, Krana buying PPEs in Korea. And the clear case is Bono region.
Okay.
And that President Mama Sunyani government also, and that the PPEs he could do, regional director, no, in his excitement to receive PPEs, no, he make key comments. And he ended up exposing the government. You can double check. Because of the comments that our regional director made, you're transferring now to the desk officer.
I didn't know.
You know, he ended up saying that since COVID outbreak, even though a normal recorded case, they have not received any PPEs from governments. You see, President Mahama, they now, and it is not just Bono region. In so many government hospitals, President Mahama PPEs were the first to get there. Not by Nkoi. And because this government were exhibiting inaptitude, or Nimdia Oye. I know what I say, and the NCC, I think the more muscles on education. The again issue is on doing so. But say, and the Nipa 2 said, touchlight cry, ya more movie. Meaning, when doing so was at its peak. In economics, there is something called opportunity cost.
Right.
So you're very
no me confront him the name the part. That means so the opportunity cost of buying the Atadia is the shoe now.
When Doomsaw was at its peak, one, what government did was that we gave a relaxed schedule for industries, so industries could operate. Menga said their lives were not good enough, but we gave schedules they favor industries. We sat down in the company of Ghana via all industries. That's nasty. The second thing we did, we solved a problem permanently. Today, buying to me reducing electricity prices. You know why? Because of Atuabo power plant now is here. So today, Ghana has its own gas. Eastern Bridge Power Project now, President. They go for the back at so then people time now say the figure was bloated. No, it is bringing gas directly from the western region to the eastern corridor in Tema. So you have your own gas. You don't need to depend on the West African gas pipeline project for gas. Until today, because of our gas, while produce our gas, you're able to regulate your prices. It's that opportunity cost of SAR period. Because it's me and today, a good for 50% not the man, and can eat me. 50% we are enjoying is because of the prudent investments President Mahama in that energy sector. And that is the opportunity cost of the pains you and I had to endure that time. The last issue on industries, ABA be brainy. But for instance, the pharmaceutical companies, that President Mahama, more grants.
Was it President Mahama?
President Mahama.
Okay.
President Mahama time. We gave them grants for them to be able to expand to Binko, NS, Chemizia, all there. So that's what I say. And a lot of things happened to even poultry farmers, rice mills. It never be bring a course. And the ABA, and the say we not touchlight. In the rural community, solar lights were distributed across the country by the Ministry of Energy, and that's Omorefi during the Doomso era. So a lot of positives happened. Menoka said COVID-19 if Ga East Hospital in one bank Ga East Hospital in one bank University of Ghana Medical Center in one bank Ridge Hospital in one bank who is credited with the renovation of Ridge Hospital to an ultramodern hospital, who is credited with the building of the Ga East Hospital and the COVID Center, who is credited once again with the building of the University of Ghana Medical Center. All these things are legacies of President Mahama. Me say, ventilators are yo kurumuhanomono. MPP ASAT, even from the time of outbreak, they've still not taken delivery of even one ventilator.
Okay, but Mamusa question. We're moving away from COVID-19 and matters and the you are leading the youth in the NDC. And for that matter, youth the more be bringing Juma here pa assistance now. Nana Kufuor by wa kreti enyuma bit senapko why you want to kreti a job center and the keka ho. Do you think that this government has done enough when it comes to creating of jobs for the youth? And if they haven't, what the NDC do different given the opportunity?
Odin Kontompo, and propaganda, Ibu Maya. With time, you'll be exposed. All my teachers say NAPCO for 100,000. The average salary on NAPCO is 700 cedis. Oshe allocation now, abide the NAPCO. Through the budget statements now, clearly they cannot employ 100,000 people at 700 cedis on that budget. It's, you know, on paper they have 700,000, almost 100,000.
100,000 people, yeah.
But 100,000 by the amount of money, because they pay an average of 700 cedis a month for NAPCO. Budget allocation now, they call parliament, so they chair NAPCO for Kano. When you do your extrapolations, 700 cedis times 100,000. That is not the amount that is on paper. It's in Ukrainian is almost 100,000. Two, that's why a job center. I don't be an movie. Where is the innovation? Free. Now you interview. You interest about my ejuma. I'm on my data. I'm saying nipa sign on be some job center. No, on my ejuma. You see, when the NDC was in government, baby, John Kumatina, I done corruption then. I say Sikano according to Kelvin Taylor, Sikano Church, Emma Nebusia for any address for Opezo di Parliament or Opezo Parliament, something of this kind of moment. That was John Mame's baby. Entrepreneurship, that was John Mama's baby. NEIP. Not John Mama baby. That time, no more office. We used to call it yes or something. No more office. Your first say, oh, call game park when you saw golf house at you. At the point in time,
right.
And the amount of young people, we didn't give too many, but there was no partisan politics out there. And the people who assessed that facility were people who led in the campaign for the MPP in 2016. These are business issues. It would be unfair to mention names. So as I say, it's unethical. I'm a businessman, I'm a lawyer. There are some things unethical to put out those names out there like that. But people who John Mama exhibited on Pabwa said these shoes are shoes he's wearing. And we saw when Occupy Ghana started how vindictive, how some of these people behaved. We saw journalists like Manasseh Azuri, how he criticized President Mama. And even at his book launch, President Mama was there. Nobody chased him out of this country. He was allowed a free hand. But see, today, most of you journalists have become so against for the fear. And I'm guys, the regional director of health, Bono region, or Kasa Abeman at desk. Your Pamo headmasters, and his other colleague headmaster, your Pamono, because he criticized. So many people have become victims because in this country today there is no free speech. Okasani has started now. What's he? Hey, I'm sure you've not been spared. Immediately you start criticizing them. Hey, so they'll come and tell you you're creating 1,000 jobs. Meaning the jobs are nowhere to be found, but everybody is afraid to speak. So I say, and you dare not. Oh, everybody has you, India, Kokot, where yes, we've seen decisions from the courts. We've seen decisions from court. One court grants you, one court grants bill, and the government refuses. Human rights abuses are under this government, the human rights president. It leaves all of us worried and traumatized. The jobs are just not there. And I can assure you, sir, the NDC, in due time, you better launch a manifesto. We'll have one-on-one sessions. I already want to preempt anything, but I can assure the young people who team here, say, if you are looking for hope, if you are looking for future, now per se sebi udi juma na ye juma sebi obi anfa amanyosem batare nyengu adwuma ekira. It is the NDC. Now the other issue is about jobs that has been collapsed. They tell you that they've created 100,000 jobs at ANAPCO. They've taken 300,000 jobs from us
through the air.
The banking sector forms. It is ineptitude and a kenoforiata and a vindictiveness. And a kenoforiata went on that agenda of collapsing innocent businesses. For instance, Heritage Bank. What was the problem with Heritage Bank? Have they been able to tell you and I why Heritage Bank collapsed? The only reason they ascribe to it is one of the leading shareholders is in courts. When the court has not even ruled,
With Heritage Bank, is I know sir excuse no with my it's lame. But other banks and the say then measures are to go in place to make sure say back to a year, it was measures that were supposed to be done. Because George,
I am privy to some documents.
Pablo, I'm privy to information from AM1 Kasama Bamum Peninphobia or much in fact banking sector na are you weak nemuno touching it was supposed to be done differently.
Exactly.
Approach vindictiveness.
Minia. What was the problem with Premium Bank? What is the problem with Premium Bank? What kind KPMG reports now? KPMG, even at the time they were taking over Unibank, KPMG instructed government to pay Unibank for it to be liquid. Liquidity flow was the issue with Unibank. Government owed it almost 1.2 billion. Sure, the bank may have challenges. In other jurisdictions, reforms. They did not collapse the businesses. What we saw in other, and our best practices are usually over 12 billion now pumping into the banks. And you need to collapse the banks. You don't need to collapse the banks. Those at the top now feel some guilty. Deal with them. Remove them from management. You are going to pump in 12 billion.
Right.
More pumping in 12 billion. Remove the top management. Now, we are responsible for the mess. No? Whatever you want to do with them, free and fair. Free and fair, and yet vindictiveness. I use the word free and fair. Not chasing people and lying about people. And you see, when the people are already in court against you. That is not the kind of thing I'm talking about. Deal with them at the top. Use pragmatic measures. But let the businesses stay. Run the businesses, bring in your administrators. Run it for some time. And after doing it, do what is needed. For instance, Unibank, a man of KPMG was appointed administrator. He was appointed administrator.
Right.
The same man of KPMG was appointed receiver. So you get the issue of conflict of interest.
Right.
I say me administrator and I was earning salary as an administrator. And I mean I'm a administrator of the bank. And I mean I'm a liquidity bank no. Me liquidity me I send you my me receiver. Where is this thing done? Only in Ghana that can for Riata and Amano. And this is what they did in this country. And everybody is quiet. That issue of conflict of interest was massive. Yet, and the governor, a former governor of the Bank of Nigeria, a lecture, that they can afford was sitting there with it. Today, a foreigners, and they decide who becomes a business person in Ghana. Because then, the contract, make it will help you. The foreign banks will not finance you, while the local banks in the ego. We could have reformed our banks without not collapsing them. Because it has been done in other jurisdictions. Apart from that, the job losses, direct jobs, people from the who have lost their jobs and are all over. Today, graduates, bank managers, more than Uber drivers. Those job losses are there. There is also this group of business people, young entrepreneurs who were drawing loans from this banks. Today, the bank rate above them, but nobody can access a loan. Because foreign banks who can help you now a Ghanaian business. Now even the government of Ghana contractor to even get 100,000 Ghana cedis to finance a project, Minia, you will regret it. The local banks that were supporting industries were going so a lot of industries are folded up prior to after SAR reforms, and all these jobs have been lost. It is about to create 100,000 jobs, sir. We've lost over 300,000 jobs. And these are things when the NDC is given opportunity, we will rectify.
And it has been Bloomberg, in fact, the whole world will go on global recession, which we will lose to the tune of about $3 trillion US. It means that there are going to be losses of job, any other stuff. You to the best suffer more. And if NDC should be given the opportunity to lead the country December 7th, why are you bringing on board new to cushion the youth from not losing their jobs?
We see ourselves as a government in waiting.
Okay.
And as I speak to you, His Excellency President Mahama put in place an economic management team. almost share COVID at this present time, because nobody knows when COVID is going to go.
Right.
It could be after 7th December, after elections, COVID will still be there. So their mandate is to look at COVID.
Right.
As it pertains now. What pragmatic economic solutions are surviving, and then post-COVID, after COVID. And I can assure you, sir, when I name the members of the team, it's a crack team. With their degree and what they've done with this economy before, no, they will steer through their affairs peacefully, and then also come out with solutions. We a young person, because we are yet to put out the manifesto, no, it never be mean to me preemptive, but in due time, and not too long ago when President Mama spoke on the economy, while alluding to a few of these things, a lot of things are being done, a lot of papers are being worked on, a lot of solutions are being brought on board, and in due time, the President, His Excellency President Mahama, and then the leader of the economic management team will outline in the ordinary Ghanaian youth who is out there. I can assure every person that yes, we will be hit, but under the leadership of President Mama, we will steer through and we will look for pragmatic solutions. Sebi,
and he said, Obi and Tua Benjia, Nanado Danko as the president. Onfa John Dwani Mamra. Ediana Diana Nanado are buying by ye, why ye? I nunti say we're taking one step after the other. Over Galamsey, the fight against Galamsey, which was destroying our water bodies. Nanado added to just say about causing him pose obe lusu election. Say obe fight Galamsey, and ye obenya lusu election. Yen hu ekwanya Nanado de a year na buying one Galamsey fight a fast war. Would that not amount to credit for Nando's government come 2020 December?
Nanado excavators.
What's it?
Nanado excavators government. Nanado excavators government. Party here Sika government. You are speaking about the fight against Galamsey. Right? What most people don't know, and they say, even the framework, legal framework, and you see, from where I come from as a lawyer, the most important thing is the framework.
Right.
Without a legal framework, it means Galamsey. Because at the point in time, Galamsey was legal in the sense that small-scale mining was in place. And there was not even a law. Sabi, obeying the machine, you see you no to film machine. You cannot even keep the machine. You have to give the machine back. It was the legal framework now, President Mama, exercise in the fight against Galamsey and Akufo Behenreti, Fufi and Twata. But President Akufo Addo no. Now President Mama, a legal framework to the extent that there were other measures. The sanctions were much harsher for people who indulge in Galamsey. President Akufo Addo no, there was how do you call it? A blueprint of how we're going to fight Galamsey and move Galamseyers in quote to alternative livelihood. So that's I say you can't meet all this. And that is the framework I was talking about. Before President Akufo Addo, now governments, that is the NDC administration, has set in place task forces. At a point in time, you need stories of the task forces. And he made a solemn promise to the people of Ghana, say, if it will even cost his presidency. Meaning, what have we seen? They are done business. On video, on tape, should be. From well. The evidence of, what is his other name?
Charles Onia Wonto Bissiu.
Evidence of collecting bribe as the leader of the task force. Yate Akwewusi Asem. Yate Dr. Mpon Boati Asem. Tape yibi. Party Hieska and admission for the former Boati still minister. Yen train us. Yen nim. Me no say and crusading guide. Bosomefre who DC is leading the fight for Galamsey. Or no need Galamsey kunenimpa or no ejinema yetu. Is in the crusading guide today. Yet say party Hieska John Boy do din. John Boy driver din. leading members of the NPP. And I said, don't you see crank, Boba me, Sani a ton excavator. Don't call me 50,000 cities. An investment worth over 150,000.
Is there any evidence to that effect?
Oh, but people's bank statements were made public. There were tape recordings of people admitting, say, people who had even procured some of the excavators. And there's been here. We all, you see, the fight against Galamsey is scam. And President Akufo-Addo won't be exonerating him because of Kamumbi. Party here scam. And Paul Barton may have say, your two excavators na party here scam. Because in that meeting, I understand your boy was in that meeting. From Paul Barton was in that meeting. Ekosi was in that meeting. Me no can say up to date. Up to Lene. Aso Tribe and Abba. So, when anybody says anywhere, Akufo-Addo are in the fight against Galamsey, is a scam. And I'm going to say the man himself is dishonest. The other issue, why should Ghanaians vote the NDC? Meaning, 4 years under the NPP. I'm going to name this year of roads.
Year of roads.
But roads no way.
COVID-19 year, suspended in the country because Sino Hydro never me and said flight into be 20 or more. 4
years. It took in your last year, election year, and I can't obey roads. Also, basic 350 secondary schools. Meaning, our schools no way. 350 secondary schools Akufo-Addo promised schools no way. What say Obeye hospitals? So 88 hospitals no. Go and look at his manifesto. It is in there. Go and look at his manifesto. 88 hospitals now as you be seen. No. In 2016, we promised the people of this country. Say in your first 100 days, Obe sending $100 $1 million every year. Across district, a constituency be meaning I say it's kind of way for one village, one dam, there way for one village, one constituency, one factory, way for. So, Odin Kontumpo, we need elections, you cannot govern with lies. But infrastructure debates now, you can't be President Mama on that front. And the job creation is tied to infrastructure. When you build more hospitals, you can employ more nurses. When you build more hospitals, you can employ more doctors. When you build more roads, you employ more construction workers. So the infrastructure debates, every economy that prospers. When America, after the 2008 economic, Obama no more for me, more economy, no, they use construction. Because construction feeds every facet of society. And then all those projects they were in for. So I don't know how President Akufo-Addo can stand toe-to-toe with President Mama on any debate. In health sector, our record is better. On education, they are big. Free SHS. Look at the mess free SHS.
Standing toe-to-toe, creation of jobs. Nanado Amaya, one district, one factory.
Where are the factories?
No, I can cite Kumfi pineapple juice factory and other factories. In fact, according to a Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Kojo Martin, or say 181 factories. Anna almost here from 2018, and if they are almost done with 181 factories. And no, a momo as NDC say a beman ko fa trobetiam.
Minia o kwatro kaka so be man to ma eti ni di.
Are
so oko na factory motokin for factories yo deda. Ogoda oko paintino one factory. Omo muti committee nim say no mze factory na ohoda. Kasa preko factory na oho na oko paintino one street one factory. I don't know more committee no mze factory na ohoda. Where are the new factories? Is there factory, the debate, sometimes I'm quiet. The debate around it sometimes, because from a business background, only too much, and especially when you are dealing with a very vindictive government. One share ni akuguni panejuma. But young grant almost say bekumfi. And a jute factory was being established in the Ashanti region. It's your normal.
What's the jute factory?
Yes, it's been abandoned. It was almost completed. Abandoned. Commander Sugar Factory. What is the state of it? It's been abandoned. So, we did a shoe factory in Kumasi. They are now on the electric form way. What is the state of it? Abandoned. And these were factories between the jute factory, the shoe factory, the tomato factory, and then the rice mill in the northern region. We pay Sainfa. And now, Commander, It has the potential of employing directly 7,000 workers, indirectly 40,000 from outgrowers in Yema. What is the state of it? You know, sir, one district of may say, I dare President Akufo-Addo with his record of 4 years, or 3 years, 5 months, with President Mahama's record of 4 years, toe to toe, Buko Manku say pound for pound. Ono Munjira Nienche. President Akufo-Addo's record is symbolic. He cannot, hey, on see hospital baako, on see school dying baako, on the only thing he can come and pitch about is free SHS. Meanwhile, the experts today are telling them, say, free SHS, if they had gone the Mahama approach now President Mahama started here for day students now, would have been better off. And you know, they hope, they say, their only lack is COVID. And also, COVID has exposed them big time, say, they lack ideas. Almost all the things they've implemented under COVID were things President Mahama spoke about. President Mahama Kasa, Adiatia, Nekufo-Addo Abekasa, and they follow up and implement. President Mahama, they call it for reduction in electricity and tariffs. Nekufo-Addo, President Mahama, they call it for water. Since water is for washing hands, no, the next one they did it. Obaya, all man sui. On train, Subaku. Water works in them. Their President Mahama, on train, so they even 1 liter of water production. There is no record to compare. So I say, Obaya will borrow over 120 billion in 3 years, 5 months. No capital expenditure. No capital. We borrow 120 billion into recurrent expenditure with their salaries. And I would be a chairman. Parties like I said, I'm this kind of 120 billion. The NDC and our President Mahama borrowed less than 120 billion in 4 years. We have numerous projects to show you for sense kind of bro, you know. And the NPP, 120 billion recurrent expenditure. Look at the size of his governments. COVID is your president, I'll drink Ghana for one. The first thing you would have done is reduce the size of the government.
Senator.
Now, Minister Rebe, are you getting value for money?
According to the president, said the Ghana system here, as a Okreti because he was in a hurry. It was trying to make create a paro wheeler and then a contract. I mean, a sum or my Ghana instead of the normal bureaucratic ways of doing things in this country.
Now, has anything changed? Bureaucracy is necessary. Nothing has changed. Or appointing ministers, 128 to 7. What's new? They're bearing measures, you know, putting in place a Ghana for Bekaze with 128 ministers in Tino. Yahumbi be pebi. What has changed? Almost everything. For instance, railways. Oh, Minia.
Your top gear drew 3 city. According to the Minister of Agric.
You know, as for Akoto said, he's Akoto said.
Right? No, that is not Akoto said. Akoto free.
Akoto free. Akoto says a decent man. Sorry, I go to us say
MP for Tafan.
He are a highly respected man. Only me bunipa. I go to free Dr. Akuto free.
Also free Akuto.
Also free Akuto. Okay, we are not in some market to me and the catcher. No. Omo fact check. One other radio stations cry. What is some market to me and the catcher? No. On Wankasa, he's not informed. And you know why? Rightly so. The minister is misinformed by his people. So the minister goes to misinform the president. So Akufo-Addo is living on false hopes. Because his minister for Agrek, Ababe Katrin said, you are near Bukrum. Your Tiff Flagstaff house, no,
because of planting for food and jobs.
But you see, we have a certain president of this country. Not once, not twice. Ababe Katrin said he was misled. A American innovation deal. Ghana was going to lose almost $500 million. President appended his signature to it. You're saying in the parliament and minority raising issues. What did they tell us? That the president was misled. President of the Republic was misled. So many decisions are backfire as you. I didn't know. How many times have president in countries I didn't know? In this country. 128 ministers. So your minister of Agric, Ebe Kachro say, you talk about drew 3 cities. It is ridiculous. Brodier drew 3 cities. na president wa GD na okanwe ye no ye che ne say ye ntro no try no he's still minister of agric unyi nadi. So how do you want the populace to take you? So you're serious. Nobody will think you're serious. Unfortunately, nobody will see you as a serious person. And these are the people like Ghana. So when you ask and arrogantly, when you call him incompetent, journalists be a friend incompetent. Did you see his reaction on social media? I feel yakuto. But obe jina cast say we are, and then you call somebody incompetent. Now me fire born in China.
Mene lawyer George Opare Addo a youth organizer of the NDC Anna Echim Komo wo Happy 98.9 the super fantastic hot political show one that be me and me watch me mosom for from Tete exercise intimacy the radio headmaster I'm a chere wo radio area said you see developmental radio pa one that be no na dey fire kan ya adwene obia nsuru da. And yabusa the questions in Libya, you better zoom into NDC preparations towards a year 2020 and maybe a draw. Near maybe I see within the NDC as well, which we will touch on. Dabe crowd na umbe you or more a year or more running mate at the Amaye. Yabusa Pablo. Say Pablo, you join Anabi and industry captains to share relief items. Well, so what is he talking about? He should concentrate, getting back to the good books of General Mosquito, Farouk Teman Adebaye. Now, please, Dr. Bawumia should be telling us what he has personally done in terms of distribution of PPEs, face masks, and other interventions to help fight the COVID. The last time Dr. Bawumia distributed anything in this country, majority of the items were expired. Is this a comparison he would want to engage in with Mr. Mahama? Cyrus GH asking from Dome. Where's an anoka Bumfade Sekonkonana Maha Ohine? Yeah, one kwasonana. One win Yentia or minor and kwasono. Juma be a man be into me envy now of abetua. Okay, abetua so. Ora Pablo, I can't say. A bad day, sir, or minor yet a obia ba. Obey Nidia. Okay, akaka krakra. La bista back to message in media and no of a case there. Nana go every day you said you got no or said not do NDPP NDC on your show. Pablo is not a pastor, he's a politician. So what are you talking about? But you Good afternoon, my gallant youth president. I always restrain myself to be apolitical in my analysis. However, the way the president's speeches are being delivered during this COVID-19 exhibit, that he is in sharp contradiction with his own words, very detrimental to managing the pandemic. Francis Ahianyo Ahovi and Free Oyibi Ebaye. I've always said that we should boycott these two parties. Kokudako believe so. Where's the freedom fighter of emancipation movement? Emancipation is okay. Work towards the youth organization. Blah 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 blah. Freedom fighter movement. Emancipation is working towards for the youths. Organizer Kwame Rifamensa ko moni adwuma ene Bernard Amusu na the free CPF achimota ebaye. Now your style of questions even shows that MPP has failed. You are just exposing MP in disguise. Keep it up. Maxwell in Gulf City in Bachon Fami Kotrasi Muma Mengene me ho. Organizer, good afternoon. I like your way you do your presentation. Keep it up. Robert Obi Uyibi and a partner there no buy. Leviticus Powers say good afternoon. Is the NDC saying they could manage COVID-19 better? When in their first 4 years, all their energies were focused on judgment debt payment, like Woyomis, one and planting of trees, rearing of fowls, which never saw the light of day. His Excellency Nanado remain focused on the fight against COVID-19, and so let us all follow all protocols and stay alive and save lives. And near Leviticus Powers nearby. Pablo, they... Okay, okay. Pablo, they are at it again. Character assassinations, defaming, they bank them to win 2020. It has been their weapon. Go to social media outside and inside Ghana. They are at it. Kofi Tope and a different point. As we speak, The South Africans, USA, Britain, and some Europeans have been in planes now to pick the nationals from Ghana within the closure of our airport. That is what serious government do for their nationals. Victor, Dansumana, to many aware of no assistance now. Senior, we should continue to abide by the directive given by the president, since the best way to go, and those who will be stubborn must be dealt with by the law. Greetings, Honorable Carlos Ahenko, MP for Temaoke, Abele Nungwa, Abele Yanko. Please tell Pablo that English is too much, making it difficult for my mother at Bumfa to follow what he's talking about. Junior Bohamuniba, Junior as a Pablo, bro, the dosso, as a mamma could shop and one tears here. Edima, Trina, Emblem, obviously, or the cheaper. So, now from a kabumu from Biwa Mimwa. Kwame Jesu, who from a kabumu radio message. Well, last one, I'm back to the studio. Pablo saying President Mills didn't do any project, and that all the projects were started by John Mama. So, in their first 4 years, what did they do? Nana Boss Media Conadia no buy. Who will be a person responding to her? Niango back to Nia Rapia.
On whether President Mills projects or not. A government's mandate is for 4 years.
Right.
It was the President Mahama, Vice President Mills. It was President Mills, Vice President Mahama administration.
Right.
Papa a woman no, the board President Mills. The board President Mahama, President Mills who no. Bonina the woman is the board President Mahama. So if today President Mahama was part of that legacy, mind you, not President Mahama, a Vice President for 4 years, 3 years, 6 months technically. So he was a key part of that government. And Obet twice for 4 years as president. It is the Mills Mahama legacy. Sabe Mills, may his soul rest in peace. Oni obi. Every credit that is due. But in that woman, for instance, Jida. It happened under President Mills. It didn't happen under President Mahama. But what did that be before separating these two issues? No. The issue of Guinea Farm, TSOB, because it's here. Joy FM for cartoons, cartoons. There was no issue of Guinea Farms flying anywhere. But wrote 2 articles to correct Sir Iranian's impression. So I'll say. But a better story. Most of the judgment debts are Obi Kaze NDC chair under President Mahama for between 2013 to 2016. I'm on judgment debts are chair. But you had the bonnet in the bonnet in the bay, and the Papa so Munja is unnecessary argument. And when they have their back to the wall, then they try and separate the projects. Oh, and we started President Mills' time. Yes, I started President Mills' time, President Mahama. So, and he was instrumental. He was the number 2 man at that time. So what is their problem? If Jida, that I'm doing President Mills' time, and then even President Kufuor, because Jida mess, and President Kufuor most of the mess.
Yeah, the boy your mama dear, Papa no your mama. Simple as ABC dear, no Abba. But so far, yaka corruption wants them in this country. Nana Kufuor England out say wa appointed Martin ABK Amidu as the special prosecutor. Omra media ni mo ni anko. Ene ni maybe ananado dia gu ni mo say for PDS and so say more clamping down on it. Am I returning back to ECG? The fight against corruption, I know say it play major role when it gets to elections. Over near my buying we are here as compared to Mama buying and Newa. What do you make of it?
Minia, President Mahama did not set up the office of special prosecutor. But President Mahama corruption better as in the Akufo-Addo.
Oh, how?
Yeah. Under President Mahama, even journalists who were reporting corrupt acts were not persecuted. Under President Mahama, institutions were allowed to work. Under President Mahama, a lot of things happened there. And then, all those things that happened under President Mahama, no, what's it here? Okay, the they might be attacking. Now let's look at President Akufo-Addo and his speech in opposition. I will use the analysis remedy in fighting corruption.
Right.
About 2 videos now as Yamano. So ne ebetri obi aso amini. Kromo and that's what the Flagstaff House. Apart from that, if PDS, but PDS should not have even happened in the first place. And yet boardroom rankers here call so the Minister for Finance trying to reapportion shares. Our man prayer because they wanted to bring on board their new cronies. And we all saw the letters. They appointed Kutampa say, shares nefofo. We all saw it. And PDS would have gone unannounced, untouched. Many will say, I hear collecting to the extent people use ECG's properties. And they could from banks under the PDS agreements. Many will say, no accountability. President Akufo-Addo cannot be exonerating from all those corruptions. A merry innovation deal. As I was misled. Excavators and the fight against Galamsey. And then the many issues of corruption have swallowed away. And the COVID now every day, every week, one scandal. To the extent that an index was created for scandals. And that's how buying we. From the Ministry of Communication of Lausu, so the deal you call signing friend is saying.
Kenny GVG, is that correct?
Kenny GVG. A bon can. Me no can say Unipass for agreement. Unipass don't take you over Potsy. And then I say yeah. To the extent that you have a Deputy Minister of Trade who goes to argue on Unipass and says, I have not read the documents. Crowford deal, Auditor General Troy, yourself about for $1 million. Maza, the amount of corruption issues I ain't going to by way. They have lost the fight against corruption. And as for Martin Amidu, the least said about him, the better. Martin only fights his voice when it involves NDC. Martin, the voice, Kasa. So assembly for NDC so many instances for one man, you do some Wakobo Martin, say Martin, assembly in our course. Also, it is out of my jurisdiction. It is with the police side. So I say, me say, we want a debate from the NDC. President Mohammed Nye, President Akufo-Addo, now independent journalists like you are, Mowa Kukudro, and interrogates, no. Now, we may be some questions. President Mama, during your allegation when about and then Abuga Pele, he was sitting member of the NDC in Parliament. He was being prosecuted under President John Dramani Mahama for Jida. Nobody talks about it. President Mahama's fight against NDC, President Mahama allowed people to interrogate issues until the issues came to the forefront. President Mahama was not paying off journalists not to discuss stories. Today, what do we see?
Who is paying journalists not to discuss?
The MPP and the budget statement by who said you were portion for communication. It wasn't yet. They are paying off some journalists. Open secret. Everybody knows that they are not able to interrogate issues better. There is a budget. There are meetings they have. And these are serious allegations and I stand by them.
Because allegations, you are just throwing wild allegations into
because it is true. Because you are critical of the government. That is the one who better. Attacks about so you say easy. So and that is what they do. Who cannot cry about to Kroman on Professor Kakari, who is a non-NPP person. But catch her and say, Manasseh's life was in danger. Why the Kai Grace Asibi? Who cry Grace Asibi and everyone could keep you out police headquarters. Inform us, no, see my life is in dangerous. Okay, it's Manasseh Azuri's life was in dangerous. So they had to sneak him out of this country because he's made a public thing about this government. We've seen the issue of how they've handled vigilantism and the lies of it. This government has failed us on all fronts, whether I like it or yes. For the first time in the history of this country, Judge Ignifi courtroom, Judge Edemrika Kumasi courtroom, because invisible forces are attacking courtroom. Today, when you go on radio and you criticize them, they say, and now papel freedom. And now Haji, the investor contractor, was there to assault a journalist. Because
one every second.
Australia for
but he was cleared by CIA.
But we have a clearing president. Why not why your body will clear? Show me one of his appointees and why Bonnie ain't clear. Sharing Nipa PPA guy, almost everybody, or Tabubi or year conditions here. The next moment, you turn out Nako to GRE. Ghana for any Brako, any GRE, but chairman. One person. Kotsina Maritime, Yehopoto, Tam, so GRE boss. any brains a papa we had when you were there and sana you know. So for the issues of corruption, they say we throw a challenge to Akufo-Addo, President Akufo-Addo. The NDC challenges you, debate His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama on corruption, infrastructure, economy, and development. Ghana for independent people don't go and even his paid journalists on for Mumbra. No more questions and let's debate and interrogate the issues. Right? You cannot compare the 4 years of President Mahama to the 4 years of President Akufo-Addo.
When it comes to corruption,
infrastructure, economy, and everything. Mr. Obiya borrow 120 billion. 120 billion in 3 years, 5 months. 120 billion in fact. IMF 1 billion on my for COVID. What they come one here and Nambu. That is the amount of money they've borrowed so far. Almost been gota back. Me not check across the got. They can't show you even one gutter they've constructed with size cannot. They say 350 schools are promising and we challenge to an open debate. A debate of issues. And yet almost surrogates, no more time the almost robots set social media, okay, sema, near to the extent that 1 million Ghanaians cannot criticize this government. It's not going to be criticized. You almost throw. During the time of the NDC, the clergy found this voice. And then, who dare you from the clergy criticize this government? You may even do Is it not say something better?
Oh,
the few who have spoken, they dare not open their mouths again. The few who have spoken, they dare not open their mouths again. But okay, maybe you don't realize it. We are gradually moving into the era of silence. So nobody can speak. I don't realize it.
I just all draw my attention. Because many say they be a better. You can't free or very
few of you are speaking freely. Now the threats, the intimidation, modern Ghana for then the so many things have happened. So many to journalists under this president. The president who was seen and portrayed, the whole Akufo-Addo personality. Said on packaging, no more Toma Ghana was a scam. He's an advocate of people's rights. People's rights have been abused under Akufo-Addo than any other president in this country. And the clear case is Paul Afuku brother. When the court of competent jurisdiction granted him bail, they refused the bail. To the extent they kept him for more than 6 weeks and got another court to overturn bail now, another high court, maintaining penny same that lawyer, Minti that. Say one high court a decision. Say a movie bill. They don't go back to the same high court. They don't go to the appeals court. They go to another high court to overturn that decision. Master, some of the judicial decisions that have happened under this government, Adabraka.
Moving to the NDC. The rescue mission of the NDC Agenda 2020. How feasible it is? Where should be really?
Say nyame amba. Not all things being equal. 7th January 2021, we shall swear in a new president in the person of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. In the worst case scenario, if COVID devastates us, on the 6th of January 2021, President Akufo-Addo will have to hand over to the Speaker of Parliament and per the Constitution. In 3 months, he must conduct elections. So, Ajire Swa, with the worst case scenario of COVID, on the 6th, Akufo-Addo will still not carry himself as president of this country.
In the worst case scenario, is that stated in the Constitution?
Yes.
Which part of the Constitution says so?
I cannot give you an article of hand, but I know, I have read that if elections...
Because we've been not all this while, clear what the Constitution says. ABI advanced the argument, the president has the authority to declare a state of emergency.
Even when he declares a state of emergency, per the Constitution, reading from the Constitution, and what I gleaned from it, even when he declares a state of emergency, it is within, he needs 2/3 majority in Parliament, one, to be able to do what he even wants to do, which he doesn't have, and he will not get. That is one. 2, in the worst case scenario, the Speaker of Parliament, from 6 January 2021, President Akufo-Addo will not be president of this country. No law in this country per the constitution, guarantees him those powers. Nothing. So we cannot have elections. If the constitution, if we cannot have elections, and you see the framers of the constitution anticipated, so we can find a situation like this where we can have elections on the 7th of January, on the 7th of December.
Right.
In 2016, the NDC at that time wanted to do elections in November. We had negotiations with our brothers on the other side. We were looking for two-thirds majority to be able to change our 7th December date, about 7th November. In the last minute, the day I voted, everybody for checking out. So we didn't get two-thirds here. That is how come we voted in December. You're talking about the 7th December. It's the same thing that is going to happen. In a worst-case scenario, the Speaker of Parliament will have to constitute a government for 3 months. And in that 3 months, whether we like it or yes, we must find a way of doing elections to elect a new president. Nothing else, anywhere else, will feature. That
is the only option we have.
I say, it will be a conjecture. But what I know, and I'm saying this, and anybody who is listening, the lawyers out there can put their own interpretations to it. On the 6th of January 2021, Akufo-Addo, one way or the other, will have to hand over to a new person. After handing over, he will not come back as president again.
It looks like somebody there may, because I'll give you an example. You are not able to hold the events agenda setting for the people to discuss the relevant issues. Memo example, President Mahama Nano Beka said, Osha said yesibo COVID-19 and Ebola home Jumedia. This government did better. In fact, our government did it better than a MPP. Mutsina Sidima, Dr. Muhammad Bawumia set a new agenda where there was a comparison between a year COVID-19 and Doomso. And for to me in Hodi agenda setting. Is that true?
Yeah. When you raise two things, I will be say. The media gives you, or radio or TV or advertising gives you some leverage, but it doesn't win elections.
Okay.
The real issues are down there. The bread and butter issues are discussed in the markets, in the schools, in the churches, in the communities. So I say, I don't know what agenda anybody wants us to sustain. But you see, an agenda is only sustained when people are being paid to push an agenda. For instance, the surrogates of the NPP can go and sit somewhere and say, this story, we will not let it fly. The NDC does not control the media space. Bear that in mind. Press freedom, media outlets are not controlling. So which media space are you going to leverage your agenda on? The only space we have is social media. And go and read the discussions on social media today. Because that is a space nobody controls. And we are winning the debate on social media. The debate is in the community. Trust me. We have an effective machinery in the community. Breaking down the everyday issues to the people who matter. So yes, on radio we may not be doing it, but if radio wins elections, like 2010 is winning. Because in 2008, apart from Radio Gold, we did not have any radio or TV station on our side. To the extent, say, your boy MPP adverts 10, now when NDC the 1. But we beat them fair and square.
And then Uncle Vaka said, Munim said you see managing media as to why your relationship with the media is very bad. Do you agree?
I don't agree. You know why? We are a socialist party.
Okay.
Yeah. What socialists does, our relationship as socialists with unions. Teacher unions, trade unions, driver unions. Those are the places you build your relationship as a socialist political party. The media is supposed to be an independent fourth estate. So any government that builds relationship with the media, manages the media, is a corrupt government. And that is the NPP administration. Because they want the media to do their bidding. Social media are very critical of Nema Oye. But the media should keep government on its toes. We could have closed our mind FM when we were in power. We could have closed most of these affiliated NPP radio stations. Because most of them they were infractions on their parts. But as a socialist party, we think that was the way to go. So I say, but for this government, they are so vindictive, say they cannot tolerate dissenting opinions. It's any radio station that is critical of them, let's shut them down. If you don't play ball with us, let's punish you. And Yamana, some of their hosts on afternoon hosts be so no. It took money who how they march on to be answer. We can equally do same. Because we've seen how some of the hosts carry on their afternoon shows and even on their morning shows. Yep, in Bema or Kromanoma, meaning them before on Bema NDC for. We can equally match to some of the studios like the MPP match to a year. Will be say go close that show there, no. But that is not the way to go. That is not how you build a democracy.
Is that why I must more if I can show Subio or Peter? Is that correct?
I say, okay, press Samji 52 Ghana. We stated our reasons, and I don't believe our reasons were far-fetched.
Most of my fair representative on the allocated cops basso. Now we must sort tobacco.
Exactly.
Now we are almost actually as dictatorial host and the poodles. No.
I didn't write that statement.
Nobody represent the
NDC. I didn't write that statement.
Right.
Somebody wrote it. In the wisdom of the person who drafted that statement, no, he manages communication. And at that material moment, he felt that was what was happening. And he stated it. But you see, let's not shy away from that. Say, oh, the allotibets na hanomu. Now I can say, oh, we invite NDC, Abba. And you know, say, allote from 2017 has not spoken for the NDC. Now he calls himself a social commentator. Describe him as such. We're not asking that take allote off the show. But yeah, 2 slots now, give it to us. And give the MPP their 2 slots. We don't care. You can make allote the 5th person so that they can have 3 slots and 5. But yeah, 2 don't give the other slot to allote. And we have been, according to them, there have been series of engagements. I mean to me for Kwame Mbisano, and I mean to me for producers because we have very good relationships. But I mean to me from Mumbisom. But that is what happened. That is not my department. That is ABJF's department, and I respect the decision. He himself and his before bedroom, he discussed with the general secretary, and they felt that it was proper. Meaning, when you are part of an organization, whether good or bad, you stick to it. The decision that was taken in the best, or it was in the best interest of the NDC. I will tell you about that for power. I was part of those who said it is time to say sanction allote.
So you agree he should be suspended?
Yeah, check.
Oh,
yeah, check.
Much as some suspending
our base, you see, in politics, you need your base. Our base was not happy with some of his utterances. Instead, maybe it is unpolitical, on party conduct. Not every decision the NDC will make I'm happy of. But when we debate it internally, that passes, that becomes the law. You think I'm happy as a Akufo-Addo as president of Ghana? No. I am not happy because you see, the man is corrupt, he's inept, and he's dishonest. But Mimpo, he's the president of the country because the majority of him, and I must respect him as such. You see, Mimpo, I will say me this one.
It also support your uncle allote.
The NDC FEC has taken a decision. I'm a member of FEC and I am happy that decision was taken. That Allote Jacob has been suspended. Period.
Wow. Wow.
You try to say FM. The response, he's I'll go and sleep in his hotel. But friendship and party politics are 2 different things. We must distinguish the issues.
But now be your friend. At least meet him in Nakasa.
You think we've not spoken to him?
You did?
Many share several shows, so I meet him, sit down, we talk. So senior, some of you inspired some of us. It's we are, but you see, if me and I'm a BBA and party now, the party must deal with me. I am not bigger than the NDC.
But I read the message about could be a free large. I say Alaji Hamza pick from Nana. Truth be told, Pablo should make himself available for the youth of the NDC. A lot of the youth that see him and to share ideas. We should not forget that this election is going to be all about the youth. I would like him to tell us what plans he has for the youth. Pablo, one more.
Emi huka krasa Alaji so hwehwem you.
Alaji Hamza, so pick from.
But you see, we have a wonderful and a fantastic team at the youth wing. Nyagaza as National Youth Organizer, my 2 deputies, Edem Agana and then Ruth Sedo. Ruth in charge of constituencies and youth organizers. And I had them handle students' issues and young entrepreneurs. These are other contemporary issues now. And I sit in the center. Tuesdays, I am in the party office from about 10. So say sometimes as late as 9 in Umre.
Tuesdays be
every Tuesdays.
Oh, party
I'm
office.
at the party office. I don't go there on Mondays because some so me a lawyer me come a law firm. Tuesdays I'm there. If there are any engagements on Wednesday, I'm there. Thursday I leave Accra to the regions. And I'm gonna say, as national youth organizer, I have toured this country more than any other officer. There is not a single constituency in this country. There is not a single region in this country. Within the last 1 year, 7 months, I'm about office. No, men come more than twice. So when I leave Accra on maybe a Thursday, I return back on Sunday. What I say? Then Monday, Tuesday, me come to office. Now Wednesday, there are mobilization to move out. Thursday, Friday, you call. And I can say, my deputy, you're ready. I call northern region. Maybe a Wednesday and a Thursday. Or the tea dome. So at every point in time, at my phone, so Alaji Hamza Nimiye Pa, he will not make a statement. I am one of the few national officers who frame me. 12 midnight crown in there before. If I don't pick, the next morning I'll call you back. And accessibility to me is the easiest. Even my private office, I am a party office. It is like a party office.
I know whatever. Was it like a party office to make sure
Alaji Hamza? So who need you for organizer? I will pick farmer. Musa. So who Musa? I'm as a Kabiria. Maybe I will be up in the Beba.
I like
I am paying, you know, in paying, you know. Maybe now based on the through the structure. But you see, when you have party structures, now move structures in Subibriya, move party.
Okay.
So most often people come to me with brilliant ideas. First question is that oh, youth organizer discuss our constituency now. Because me about constituency implementing program, no. I'm not youth organizer.
They are on one about co-implementing.
Exactly. You know, other than this, and so many times. And if Omo Mutiele can, I have referred people back to their constituencies, back to their regions, and then Omo ideas, no. You know me in Aboma Babe implement it. But you see, maybe here you want that my name is Baby. It is me my own so that my new be. Do you get
I get it.
And I try as much as I can to avail myself. But you see, I was very vocal on radio and TV before I became National Youth Organizer. I am not the communication officer. On any team, no. I am a national officer. So, my radio, so I am only augmenting the work of the communication team. And Masa, I've been on radio from 2005. What's it? I've been on radio, I've been on TV from 2005. And I stay. May block you being so opportunity. I said something about leadership. Leadership is mentoring people and giving people the opportunity to shine. I have cut my teeth in radio. I have teeth on TV. Sabi, ene, nyamin chadie. Min do baby adie, but no Opare Addo, obianim. Another young man is looking for this opportunity to also sit here and be known. People give people up. Me, was about from the mommy opportunity. And today I am National Youth Organizer. I became parliamentary candidate in 2008. I became MCE in Ekwapim North in 2009. I was there under President Mills. I was there under President Mahama, 8 years. And then today I'm National Youth Organizer. Somebody gave me the opportunity. So I cannot continue to be out there in the space. Sabi Mankwa, Obi Baba. I don't know that they make a So, and there are a lot of young, brilliant communicators. Ubiza Samji Efia. These days, a lot of new faces are coming up communicating for the NDC. This morning, Dr. Pius Asando was on Adum TV. He was on Adum FM. He's a young medical doctor. He's coming up. He's a shining star. Monday morning, let me come. Imagine I'm competing with him for that same spot. And when he speaks, he comes on board with more ideas. My voice, let me be the Atina Radio, so credibility nasa. Opare Addo Bekasa, it is the same Opare Addo who has been talking from 2005 up to today. People even attribute propaganda to it. So what I say.
Better say.
To be a kubet tie me pa no. We tie me but when a new voice is settled, I believe that if you have a new voice like, let's say, Dr. Anama Kuluchi and now Dr. Esandra, the arguments would have been different. The perspectives would have been different. So what I say. And a lot of new people would have listened and say, hey, if this guy, you know how we do politics in this country? By association. Oh, Dr. Esandra or her, Dr. Anama Kuluchi or her, oh, Lawyer Opare Addo or her, I want to associate. Sabi Jemfi was given an opportunity. And at his age, you think it can happen in the NPP? That young to become national communications officer. It can't happen in the NPP.
It can't?
He can't share a crowd job upon the wine. Oh, I'm in the wine. And I don't know if he said, the address. The address. And the DG position. Oh, I'm in the wine. Me, papa, no, you'll be. But at 26.
But the youngest organizer, national organizer, is Samia Uku.
He catches states because he was national youth organizer. And because they won an election. Even people are not the elections. I'm sure Samia could have gone down into the record book say one year. You know why? Because give me one instance that he stood out as organizer. But today he's credited with all the successes. Because they won an election. So I hear people talk about CD and I'm like, people didn't even know CD. But Ushia Oman Omo Field, Nimne Juma CD here, he worked as an organizer. You can't organizer. First Samia Okuntu to Haru now. You understand? And his pedigree is much higher. And he also won an election. Because CD didn't win an election. You know, he didn't do well. But in his own right, he did very well. And there are so many other people who have come to pass in our space. Because fortune did not favor them. You know, nobody mentions them. And you know, there are people we call the unsung heroes in every political dispensation. Somebody like Madi, the deputy organizer.
Madi Jibril.
Yes. Kofi Adams. Kofi Adams was deputy youth organizer, national organizer, deputy general secretary. Fantastic personality. So I say. But today when you are talking about national organizers, nobody mentions Kofi Adams. Because fortune did not favor him. But he's a fantastic organizer. We need elections, sir. Okay, you'd have seen the accolades that would have come. But not one person wins an election. And you have various people that come together with their efforts. Synergy no more building, and they win elections. And you know, yes, if you don't give other people the opportunity, they may not shine.
Lawyer Pablo de Woma, other people the opportunity. We Eric J. de by say 133 clause 3. But when I checked, in fact, we don't have even article 133 clause 3. It is rather article 133 clause 1 and 2. You need clause 3 or say, oh, maybe I'm mistakenly now quotes apart to one. With regards to say, President also handed over my Speaker of Parliament before and no opposite what should I say where your constitution.
No, that is what the law is. I have. You know why I'm not quoting articles? Because I'm a lawyer. I cannot sit here and say unless we crack constitution now, then I can't be button. But we can't and nobody knows the constitution. Your chapters are very popular, and they're in our team, and they're crack, and they're kind about this is a gray area. Nobody argues it.
And there's nothing going back to refer to
even court allows us
we are research and all that.
In court, you are allowed to refer.
But NDC, medical Kasema can towards 2020 elections. And near my ben, but I'm going to move vice presidential candidate.
Minia, unim Ghana bakosema. Party being in a vice in Mayo.
Oh, Samu.
Yes. Party being normal wearing the vice in January of the election year. Now,
that cannot be true because Obekai 2012 or 2016 elections. Now, for 2 years prior to elections, now Oka declares on Dr. Baumiana as so it means
conference. They didn't do their conference 2 years prior to the elections, so it could not be true. Say, we the vice president 2 years before time. He could have sound signals. Say, me we near many but to do a program and the nomination and then the acceptance of the right, fanfare. It is another platform for publicity. So I tell you, Omo ye did they say NDC for ye and vice presidential candidates. Omo flag bearer. People are the mistaken president who found he's not flag bearer. He's not satisfied the constitutional mandate of being elected a flag bearer. And mind you, apart from the political parties act now, and require say Omeko conference, not by electing or no. There is a provision in the constitution that also talks about the president being elected, the flag bearers through and then they mark credence to the political parties act. No? And there is an act of parliament. So let that happen. It is a process that must be satisfied in law. Else he's not flag bearer. It will say yes, our process. No, he's not a flag bearer of the NDP.
Any flag
they don't have a flag bearer today. And no, God forbid, you are saying who is the flag bearer of the NPP? Have they done? Almost satisfy Parliamentary Act, a Political Parties Act. Have they satisfied it? No. They must go and do it. Say, I can party saying you know how expensive those processes are? In 2012, when President Mills died, it was President Mahama alone. But we went to Kumasi to undertake that exercise. So it's an important exercise that should be satisfied because the law requires it. In Jomo they say and this running flag bearer. Yeah, parliamentary primary say who is their parliamentary candidates for Mesia? I am not in the head of the president. I am a member of NEC. The constitution says that President Mahama or the flag bearer will have to do the nomination. It is a sole prerogative.
In consultation with.
But in consultation, Supreme Court now has advice open alpha.
But so far advice be a back.
Advice yamba.
More man advice be a business. But that's an indictment because call elections.
Or no the beba.
No man advice on it.
He will bring and then come and consult us. And say yemfa. That's not what the Constitution says. The Constitution says in nomination, in consultation with
and so far for DBA
of elders. Into a neck, we are a council of elders.
Doctor do for DBA me to table so as neck.
Said ya tabao, said the debao, said mansabao, me de me ma menyem. No kwako.
No nua.
Akwadeli de baby I mean ya. It's obi biara President Mama be yino. As flag bearer, Biano, go. And I know, sir, with President Mahama and how this and senior or analyzing your man, he will come out with a candidate befitting what the NDC.
Is the NDC going to break the fancy caucus chain as vice presidential candidate?
As I
BBC President Mills so BBC Emisata BBC baby away be break chain akọ Asante kakra because mbe se motapo bono any Asante kakra.
The NDC has a caliber, a quality.
Okay.
Yeah, cause we have the men now and you galamsey men ya ehui. But yeah, patch men. There were men pa
men near Galamsey men.
We know them party in scaffold.
And I know Kwame Plus or me a boy scout from man dio money.
Well, that is his description. And you've been America. He's from there and the stalker. He knows them better than I do. But you see, Professor Dr. Kwabena before. These are two fantastic names you've mentioned. Kwesiboche was credited as the longest finance minister. Dr. Kwabena Dufour's record under the Fourth Republic in terms of economic management. What people don't know is that Dr. Kwabena Dufour and they employ Mahmoud Bawumia as deputy governor at the Bank of Ghana when he was governor of the Bank of Ghana. Under the Mahmoud Bawumia Papa was our Council of State chair, and then the Banebaye, and then His Excellency Mahmoud Bawumia, Dr. Dufour funded in the Bank of Ghana.
And I still and the bank went to me how many job.
Oh, you see, things that goes, and you see, mind you, Dr. Dufour resigned from the bank, was not, he's just a shareholder of the bank. So let's not, you're not in the management issues of the bank. On here, you're not a manager. In 2000,
Because on your passive shareholder, so I'm sure you would have been very much interested
in
in
2008, in 2008, when he became 2009, when he became finance minister, he set up a trust and left all his interest into it. So he himself, as a person, has no hand in the management of the bank. He did not. The bank was a very big bank with various shareholders. And, you know, let's not tie it down to Dr. Kwame. Let's look at management and let's leave. So if all business is collapsing, they will blame shareholders. Yeah, then we are in trouble. But you mentioned two fantastic names, Professor Boucher, Dr. Dufour, and there are several other names that are making them.
I'm just looking at the dynamics. Baby, I need penny free. I say more opportunity, some better appeal to the vote.
We are a Congress. We are not a party. What a Congress simply means is that we are allowed into the framework of the NDC. Into the same panel, Sabi, I Igbenio, Sabi, your Pepinio, Sabi, your Trinio, Sabi, your Fantinio. The key factor, the key
determinant.
And you see, our membership days, no, me a crap me pom. So I say, and where I come from is the MPP that dominates in that area, but I'm NDC. So I say, I'm NDC, and the NDC now shares Opare Addo, Sabi, baby, Ofi. Where I come from, it will be very difficult for the NDC to win the parliamentary seats. But media will be NDC de amame. Yan kaze be baby am feel me support base in strong, you know. Omon fa amame. They will not have
Manga said the said the fortunes of the party.
They will not have elected.
Ochina choose Opare Addo to be you can say the flag bearer or assistant flag bearer.
If I go for
so
elections,
say numbers in very low.
If I go for elections and I win, the party doesn't have. But I went for elections and won as National Youth Organizer.
Flag bearer, in fact,
and I make I say I am one of the frontliners of the NDC. Take it or leave it. I am part of those who make decisions for the NDC. So I say, so wherever we pick our flag bearer from, we will look at dynamics. We will look at issues that matter. But ethnicity is not one of the things the NDC concerns itself with. Because the GD say everybody, and I say we are Congress. Everybody is given equal opportunity. Say criteria that you are setting out. Say no, you meet it, and you bet me a jumano. Say ukura ofim, we just deeper 5. Now bet me a jumano because we believe say Ghanaians don't vote based on ethnicity. Say they are you know or one people no, me them ya can it say me people no. We don't think like that. Because in 2008, in 2012, we won 8 regions. Apart from Eastern and Ashanti. And even in Eastern in 2008, in 2012, we got close to 42%. So I say, so if we get 40%, you cannot regard it as your stronghold. We won 8 regions. 8. The only region that people did very well was the Ashanti region. So we are a universal party. In the beer, the pani feel the piano. You didn't say you may near strategize here. You bring your votes a figure, not just one region.
Not just one region. It's Dr. Dufour, so I never be friendly. And I'm with you, Dr. Kosibucha, I never be friendly.
To be honest, I don't even know whether these 2 names are on the table. It's been speculated. But there will be any President Mohammed.
Opare Addo talked about this honesty, but so far it has been widely speculated so much to of these 2 names. It's in your case, Bianca, over my hands.
And I make out, me tell you, President Mahama has not come to show me, say, when anything come up, but he not told me anywhere. Last week Tuesday, I was in the office. We are just now treating me, I'm saying when he be. Only me in Dean come on, and I'm beginning to only be as soon Dean come on, flag bearer, the running mate. It is so prerogative. It's in consultation with advise your partner offer.
And before the communication, Dove Maxwell, Youth Commander-in-Chief, thanks for setting the record straight. Youth Organizer, the Prof Enox, I'm really impressed with Comrade Opare Addo's submission with his delegation and mentorship leadership style. God bless him very much. Elizabeth, when it's the MPP have a flag bearer, people wanted to contest him, and the national chairman stopped anyone who wanted to contest Nanado. Hamamat Muslim was a huge Pablo, Smart Nash, or said listening to this youth leader, I've been interested to say that Nana B of the MPP is next to nothing compared to this guy. The opposition should be proud of him. And he is smart national day no buy here. Yanko what's up? And I mean read it. Alajam says just imagine chairman of the Syria College of NDC since 2012 to date. And the whole national youth organization he doesn't know. Okay. Alajam please he has clarified also so una Brabishiano the office. Nana your station has gone okay, it's back. Okay, it was just a blink. We have lost okay, point one noted. Point one noted. Yanko. Please tell Pablo that he is doing well, but he can do more. There is no time on his side. He has to move a bit faster. Tell him I don't party politics, but I am willing to work with him to win power. Jake from Temane and Obaye. Good afternoon. Now, please tell Pablo I want them to set the record straight. And Anado did not end doing so, but it was Mama who fixed it. So they should stop saying Nanado. Okay. In any case, what did Nanado do to end them so? They should tell us more about move 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Nana, please tell Pablo that before the COP, I hardly heard anything from the youth wing except post on Facebook. I admit the communication wing is doing well. I believe he has a lot to push ahead as we step up for the coming elections. He is difficult to get in touch with. Cyrus GH. Cyrus watching baby in case of Ghana. I like NDC guy who is talking and JM, but I can't vote for NDC because JJ, I'll vote for my party MPP. He has, I like him. Kojo Bonsi Kofobia also Opare Addo because of JJNT on Trabamamo. Hello, come please ask Blue if he doesn't think some of the ideas aren't forward to him, his subordinates because they won't get the glory for bringing those ideas. Madina don't get the point you're trying to drive at. First go through your regional or your constituency for Organiser. Okay. And his argument is that we have had this comments there. Yeah, young credit to him. People want, and it's true, in politics, people want recognition. For instance, we are working on a project with one of our guys from Ashaman. Okay. And when he came, I tried directly, no. Send me the kofa baby there and young kokra because you want to be at the center of it. And when it happens like that, it becomes for instance, so then quickly I have to bring in his original youth organizer. Because you see, if you don't allow the structures to work, okay. So I can understand him. I say, why are you allowing Pablo to deceive you, Okadaji? The speaker himself will not be speaker after 6th January 2021. So how can he be president for 3 months? Nana Bonsabidi, you have an answer to that. Maybe he's not averted his mind to the constitutional provisions. When that's unforeseen, you need 2/3 majority of parliament to agree. And then the speaker will constitute a government for 3 months. And within that 3 months, elections must be organized. He cannot go past 3 months. It's best and I'm saying because I wish say sorry now to inquiries and portions of the law which talks about. I'm wondering why there is no dignity in this country anymore. Elderly people tell lies without consideration of our intellectual abilities at all. I am really enjoying Pablo's submission, but with Alute, remember, if you sell your friend, even your buyer wouldn't trust you. Where is Anas principle? Oberima Kensariki and the free Ama Samai Ebaye. Samacha Samanka said, let's commend the president for taking bold decisions to extend the social gathering, the ban on social gathering. The coronavirus is real and call responsibility. Let all adhere to the precautionary measures. Samebuacha Samanka said, no Ebaye. Richard Achu Anagbi from Medina. I said, the NDC man is telling the truth. The NBP government is not telling us the truth. Thanks. Okay. Yeah. 1 2 3 1 2 3. Now please, Aman, if I He has been to constituency whole West. Amos Kolebu. Who West?
I've been to Whole West. I'm a maybe inaugurate your youth working committee crowd.
Okay.
I'm a youth organizer Ortega and so I was there. I've been there. My branch of organizer Whole West.
As Pablo, is JDM receiving his monthly pension allowance? Ask him again when JDM going to speak on Airbus bribery scandal. Let me take this opportunity. Do you think Airbus is going to be a worry for Mopati? No?
As a lawyer, I would treat Airbus with the content it deserves. This is purely from the legal perspective. Yeah, when there is settlement,
okay,
what it simply means is BFM, my Bonnie B. Na mama admit say my Bonnie. Na regulators no. Na was the regulators no. And more settlement. So they don't even delve into the matter. Now more agree say okay. I say me about a yankani ye. It's to assembly crowd. The moon trouble being into. It is the same with the Airbus. Airbus itself changes top management. And then there were some infractions in Germany. And now we admission of guilt. And quickly, almost setting up inquiry. So internal controls. And on one crown, the crown prosecutors, the justice say, you admitted that some infractions have happened on our part because they cleared the whole management. Old management, yeah, some wrongs. We are prepared to settle. And then they agree and then they go before a judge and the judge puts a government. What happens is that the facts now can be into the matter did not take place. Me know what I say. The crown and the crown prosecutors enemy obiao a conjecture. And in permutations, government official number one, subsidiary number two, it is pure conjecture. Nobody should concern himself. Say me if I will not speak to such a useless issue. So that's here.
Is that why you quiet to us?
No, but are you your frog government official one? Who is the government official one? Have the British government told us the official one is?
I'm going to also more clues into a manga.
And I make us
I just need to
house to circulate false news on social media. That's all he's doing. What else? Hey, my main can be show. Now saying US for the by guy here were resigning. They mentioned government official one, okay.
Right.
Is it the same government official one as the same government official one in Airbus one? In Airbus, no. But it is the same term they use. This is how we describe principal witness one, principal witness two. These are legal jargons we use. So that's what I say. Because they assume say somebody in government. By a personal company, but that's because there are issues. Have they been able to identify who that government official one is in that energy matter? No. Because no name was mentioned. You see, Okobo Bienia a pure conjecture, and anybody can take you on. But we have irresponsible journalists in this country who run with some of these stories.
You see, when you mention journalists, irresponsible journalists, and a journalist be a potos, journalists be a young person both team because one really I know can you move be afra. So as soon as you know why you're not yes, any pain, young BBI,
I'm also guided by ethics, and I will generalize than to be more specific. You know why?
Tell me.
Because Obibia would say in Biano. The ordinary Ghanaian is discerning. When the man more year Mapano, and then the more year paid journalism. Everybody knows. Because we build relationships to come and single out A or B. But then when some journalists speak, how many could be say you think the ordinary Ghanaian is happy when you get opportunity of questioning the president about issues bread and butter issues are confronting. Now go praise shelter. You think the Ghanaian is happy? Even Mamu Studio CB so. One international discussing Mamu colleague CB.
Yeah, more discuss.
People ask questions and the money can say, oh, I said, the question I said, studios here.
Oh, it be another level of reason of it in their question. No. pay no.
So.
Yes, you pay no.
Mami Joy.
Deep thinking and analytical reasoning no yeah no.
Mami Joy.
Pablo before say be sorry so no. Me kwa kwaje course be 324 na ye dey response for the man from her. Sa na e bo no to. But obi send message say anos e ka Japan betra ha say yan say ni bia ni NDC mu. And for that matter say ma mo respond e be na ya pa. O kan me correct ni dey but still no your people say unko for say ma mo respond to
happy and nature.